don't really think of entrepreneurship as difficult and challenging, but honestly, day in, day out, you're pushing yourself to the limit.
It's hard to be an entrepreneur.
We're past the point of creating just for creation's sake.
I feel as though we all have a purpose and we all have a commitment to society.
It is a passion of mine to leave this world in a better condition than I found it.
The main purpose is trying to create projects or participate in projects that can be like an agent of change.
The possibility of making an impact that will be memorable and can change the lives of especially a lot of underserved individuals or people that feel like they aren't seen.
Not only is that exciting, but you can make a really big impact on the world.
If we all serve in our own way, then I think we'll make the world a better place.
We started Say Surfer to help people like my cousin who are struggling with mental illness.
The problem that we're addressing is that about half the students coming out of secondary in our country, they struggle with research skills and they're not ready for college level writing.
We want to lift the stigma that people that are in the trades are, not good enough for university.
We are going to be reforesting deserts in order to capture carbon and reverse climate change.
MassChallenge, it was like flipping a light switch.
The mentors we're working with are giving us an opportunity to go back and essentially sort of plug holes and fix things that were held together with MacGyver tape.
We all have one thing that's equal in this life, and it's time. So anytime somebody puts their personal time up to help others, that it's so selfless. It's amazing.
It's taken us from being engineers to entrepreneurs.
The networking that we've been able to do with other entrepreneurs.
Thank you a million times.
Thank you so much.
Thank you may even be an understatement.
We can't keep going without all of you.
If this past year and a half has taught us anything,
it's that there is no one place where entrepreneurship thrives.
Inspiration is everywhere.
Literally.
In Sunnyvale, California.
In Houston, Texas.
In India.
In Zoom rooms.
Even in Edmonton.
And MassChallenge is driven by that very idea.
By bringing founders together.
By reimagining how we drive innovation.
By using zero equity, uncommon approach that supports entrepreneurs solving massive challenges.
This is a global network.
One that empowers innovators to power their communities and transform economies.
It's a place to gather
and exchange ideas
with mentors and partners,
donors and alumni,
governments and ecosystems
to build a stronger future
through collaborative innovation.
This is MassChallenge.
This is MassChallenge.
This is MassChallenge.
Come solve with us.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. My name is John Nordby. I am the head of ecosystem and community for MassChallenge. Really excited to welcome you all here. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you. A couple special thank yous. We've got some folks that have traveled from pretty far and wide from our board of advisors, our board of directors. Travis, thank you for being here. David, thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do for MassChallenge. Also, some special guests in the audience from Representative Mark Vassy and Lance Gordon's offices. Thank you for being here and all you do for the state of Texas. All right, who's ready to party? I know I am. This has been 2 years in the making, and I can't tell you how excited we are to be here. MassChallenge is a nonprofit. We take no equity from our founders. We charge them nothing, and we believe that model drives really sustainable startups, and we have a lot of data to prove that. We're excited to bring this model here to Texas, to North Texas. All right, so I'm going to go off script a little bit here, because I do this a lot. I've learned over the last 6 months that we have to refer to North Texas as North Texas. Is that right? Everybody agrees. All right, I keep wanting to say Dallas, but this is North Texas. And that's important, actually, because the work that we do that starts here in Pegasus Park, that we have a bold vision for, we truly believe is going to spread through the entire region of North Texas. And we truly believe will have an impact on founders, on the capital community, on the knowledge networks that exist here. So we're incredibly excited to be here for that reason. We had a vision in MassChallenge when we expanded domestically into Texas back in 2017 to bring the global network for innovators to this state for a very specific reason. There's a massive amount of opportunity that sits within this state, and that is, I think, materialized and manifest itself incredibly well in places like Pegasus Park, where there's so much fabric for startups and entrepreneurs to take a part of. There's so many organizations that have been working for years, like our friends at the DEC, Health Wildcatters, folks telling the stories of D-Innovates, telling the stories of entrepreneurs. You're not supposed to mention organizations because you always leave a few out, right? Then they get pissed at you. But you get what I'm saying, right? There's a ton of people that have been working for a long time to build this ecosystem, and I'm really excited that me and my team and the network that we represent can be here to be just one more piece of that fabric. We have a vision to leverage the network that MassChallenge represents, our global network, to be a conduit for capital, for access, for knowledge to flow into this region in a really meaningful way. Part of our vision when we wanted to come to Texas was partially because of that opportunity, which I think is again embodied here in everything that's happening at Pegasus Park. But we knew in order for it to be successful, we had to do two things really well. We had to support the translational technologies that this state's known for that supports our industrial clusters, things like cybersecurity, biotech, robotics, IoT. We wanted to find partners that believed in that mission and that passion that translational technology can build industry clusters. And I can tell you, we have found, I think, the best partner in the world for that in our friends at Light Hill Philanthropies. So a huge thank you to them, to the team, Nicole, Matt, Olivia, Lily, for your vision, and of course, Ms. Light Hill for the vision of not just manifesting this beautiful space as a beacon for innovation in the region, but for the vision and the leadership that it takes to get these things off the ground and to pull communities together, which we think is incredibly important. The second thing we knew we had to do really good is we needed to establish a presence in the 3 major hubs in Texas and connect the Texas Triangle. And that has the potential to unlock the sort of kinetic potential that we knew existed within the state of Texas and the state of Texas economy. And today, tonight, this moment represents the culmination of that vision from 2017. Our ability to establish now a presence in North Texas to complete this Texas Triangle and to be able to represent to the global startup ecosystem the value that exists within Dallas, within North Texas, within Texas economy as a whole, which we think is incredible and is why I say we, the folks from Boston, you get to hear from Kate in a minute. There's always an us versus them internally, right? There's always the Yankee and the Southern thing. That's why they decided, though, that Texas was the place to expand, right? So that we could capitalize on this. So I'm super excited for that. I'm excited to be here tonight, first and foremost, to celebrate some founders. We get to do that. That's pretty awesome, right? We are a founder-first organization. A lot of folks say that. I think we really live that mission, though, because we don't take equity and we don't charge any fees. That's number one. We also believe in the sustainability of startups, right? So we try to push our startups to look for revenue over valuations. We think that's super important. Sometimes it's controversial, but I don't think there's any investors in the room that care, so that's cool. And we do that on the back of, or I should say the foundation of a very large, very engaged, highly qualified mentor network, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Ultimately, though, hopefully what you can see as I'm talking about here is MassChallenge, we think we play a really important role in the ecosystem. We're excited to be here, but it is a role, and it's a role that's additive to other organizations, other things that are happening, and only exists and is only made possible, the impact we create is only made possible because of the help and support of folks like you that come to events like this, that judge for us, that decide to take the leap of faith and create a startup and go against the better advice of your parents, and that tell you to get a real job. Thanks, Mom. All right. So let's get to it. First off, again, I want to thank our friends at Light Hill Philanthropies. I'd love to welcome up Ms. Nicole Small, CEO of Light Hill, to share a little bit more about their vision. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks, John. Can y'all hear me? Okay, good. Well, I am here just to say a quick welcome and a quick thank you, and just to reiterate, we are so excited to have MassChallenge here. We cannot tell you. Kate, welcome from Boston. Even though we're from Texas, we love having you here from Boston. We are just thrilled to have y'all here today. How many of y'all have been on campus here at Pegasus Park so far? Just a couple of you. Okay, well, to the rest of you, welcome to what we know is the future of innovation. We're really excited to have you all here. We have some future tenants, the Health Wildcatters, who we just publicly, Hubert, welcome to the family officially. We're thrilled to have you. We are so happy that you're here, and we hope that tonight's just the beginning of you all having the opportunity to share with us in this journey. At Light Hill Philanthropies, we go by kind of Lighta's mantra, which is science is the answer. We really believe that science is the answer to so many of the world's problems. I don't need to start listing those problems off for you all today. I think we're all pretty clear on what science is helping us do. But we partnered with MassChallenge because we believed we had already an incredible infrastructure here, as John mentioned, with people like the DEC and Health Wildcatters. And we knew that if we could bring in some other partners as well that had a global view and could continue to help us attract global startups and global ideas and global companies to North Texas, then we could continue to build out an ecosystem that we know we have here. There are incredible innovators, there's incredible thought leadership here, there's great science, there's great people doing great technology, there's a lot of capital who wants to fund those things, and we're kind of tired of it happening on the coast. We love the coasts, but we know there's a lot of opportunity for that to happen here as well, and for us to partner. So there's the Texas Triangle, and then we believe there's the third coast here in Texas. So we're excited to work with those from the Bay Area, those from the Boston area, and welcome everybody here to Texas as well to grow this innovation that we know is going to make the world a better place. So we are just thrilled to have you. We're excited to hear all the new pitches tonight, and we know this is just the beginning. And thanks. And I'm going to introduce Kate to tell us more about MassChallenge, and welcome. Thank you.
All right, I was gonna throw in a y'all so that you thought I was from down here, but I guess the jig is up, so I'm from Boston. Hi all, I'm Kate Brummy, acting CEO of MassChallenge. I'm so excited to be here tonight. This is a big night for North Texas, not just because MassChallenge is here, we think that's a big deal, but because we're here in concert with the future forward investment and vision of Lyda Hill Philanthropies. As you heard John mention, our vision is a stronger future through collaborative innovation. Over the last 12 years of working with startups, accelerating ecosystems, and supporting economies, we've learned that groundbreaking innovation, the type of innovation that is going to redefine the way we live and work and play, it requires sustained community. It requires sustained connectivity. And that's a vibrant ecosystem. And so that's why at MassChallenge, we're certainly in the business of supporting startups, but we're also in the business of building a global network for innovators, and one in which entrepreneurs and academics and investors, government officials and corporate leaders can converge around the most pressing challenges of our time, and also one that gives our audacious, high-impact, high-potential entrepreneurs the support and the courage they need to launch and grow their startups. Because we believe that where science is the answer, and we do actually believe that, startups are the heartbeat of the economy. They're the source of extraordinary solutions, inspiration that we all need, and job creation and competitiveness. And yet, we know that the path of entrepreneurship is uncertain, and it's hard. And that's why at MassChallenge, we've made the hard but very focused commitment to offer our programs at no cost, no equity, and to make them community-powered, community-driven. And we've been at this work for 12 years. We're extremely proud that we've supported over 3,000 startups. We've worked in 21 countries. We worked with hundreds of corporates and mobilized thousands of experts around this mission. And that's exactly what we want to bring to North Texas. I'll also say we know this work is far from done. It is absolutely certain we are in the era of innovation and entrepreneurship. We're in a technology revolution like no other. And there is important and meaningful work that we all are going to do to move the entrepreneurial and venture sector itself along the innovation frontier, to make sure that this extraordinary mechanism of entrepreneurship is not just on the coasts or is not just allowed for certain types of entrepreneurs, but is really harnessed for us to solve problems regardless of founder, geography, sector. And this is the important and exciting work that we're committed to at MassChallenge. We are totally thrilled to be here in North Texas tonight to launch MassChallenge and to support the incredible vision of a third coast here in Texas. Pegasus Park is a place that inventors, creators, entrepreneurs will connect and convene, and we know how powerful that is. We're really honored to be part of that vision, thanks to the founding sponsorship of Lyda Hill Philanthropies. Thank you all on behalf of MassChallenge for being here tonight. for supporting our launch and celebrating it with us, and most importantly, for joining us in our vision of a stronger future through collaborative innovation. With that, I will wrap up these remarks, and we're going to kick off the most exciting part of the night. So I'll turn it back to John to MC.
So we would not be founder first if we decided just to come and do a press release or a press conference, right? And just say, hey, woohoo, we're here. We're gonna bring some founders up. So this is awesome. We decided that we would do a sort of a mini competition. We got some prizes at the end. Give you a little bit of sort of lay of the land. We opened up applications for a pretty short window. All of these founders had representation here in North Texas. They all scored very highly. Our panel of esteemed judges have had a chance to review applications and video pitches and have already sort of done some preliminary scoring. So each startup's gonna come up, we're gonna have a 5-minute pitch, they'll have some slides. We will get out the big cane right at the 5-minute mark and start to pull you off stage. I'm joking, there's be some reminders. But we'll do that, we'll have a little bit of back and forth, and then we'll talk about what prizes are. So, y'all wanna do this? Yeah. All right, let's see the first, or actually, let's meet our judges. How about we do that first? So first, thank you, judges, for being here. I don't know if we're in order of the slide. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. We've got Bill Chen, CEO of The Deck. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go in order of the table. The lovely Miss Gabby right here at BioLabs, who's on site. Thank you for joining us. Dr. David Daniel. Most of these, I'm just going to say, too, that all these folks have resumes that are far too long for me to go through here. So we're just going to do the highlights. And Dr. Daniel's highlight is that he is on the board of advisors for MassChallenge. I'm kidding. It's actually that he's president of TAMMAST and former president of UT Dallas. Matt Steffi, thank you for joining us from Blue Star Innovation Partners. And of course, Travis McCready from JLL, also on our board of governing board of directors, all the way from Boston as well. So a highly qualified, highly esteemed group of judges. Let's hear it for them. Thank you. All right, now let's hear from the first startup. Who do we have up first? Do I do this? I do this. Am I going the right way? There we go. Afsana, come on up.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Zhenpeng Qin of Afsana Labs. So Afsana Labs is a spin-off company from UT Dallas and biotech startup. We focus on develop at cutting-edge nanotechnologies for pathogen diagnostics and monitoring. So we are working in the space of respiratory viruses. Well, everybody here is thinking about COVID. COVID is transitioning from a pandemic stage to an endemic stage. Beyond COVID, there's a number of other respiratory viruses that have a significant impact in our healthcare. So here we need a diagnostic test that's not only rapid, highly sensitive, specific, low cost, but also suitable for the point of care. So, for example, our initial focus is the respiratory syncytial virus. It causes about 200,000 deaths per year for infants and children under 5 years old. A rapid and early diagnostic test for this RSV would enable rapid, effective treatment and save lives. So at Afsana Labs, we developed a technology called digital plasmonic nanobubble technology, or DPNB, which allows rapid and low-cost diagnostics. And it's also portable, can be performed at the point of care. So compared with the rapid diagnostic test you may have done at home, this is 1,000 times better in terms of sensitivity. And it also highly specific, comparable to what you would get by sending your sample to a lab doing a PCR. So with this, we would be able to enable much early disease diagnostics and save lives. So some of the competitive advantages for our technology include this can be done fairly quickly, within 20 minutes. This gives a highly sensitive detection, low detection limit, a single virus particles. It's very cost effective at about $15 per test. It's highly specific, a high throughput. You can do 50, 60 of this test per hour, and it can be applied for a number of different diseases. So beyond the point of care diagnostics, this technology can have a large range of potential applications for environmental monitoring, infectious disease research and vaccine development, as well as homeland security and defense. So in 1 year, we aim to obtain about $1 to $2 million in grant funding to further test and develop a technology. And we have a clear plan and a forecast about 2,000 units in sales by 2028, and a partnership with a major biomedical diagnostic company and a possible exit. So Afsana Labs is looking at a global in vitro device diagnostic market about $85 billion, and also a point-of-care diagnostic market about more than $50 billion by 2026. So we have recently completed a NSF ICAR program, which we have done customer discovery and found a pressing need for improved sensitivity and diagnostics. And I think everybody in this room would appreciate getting such a test, for example, for COVID and others. So since 2018, we have received a number of funding, including a $2.5 million grant from NIH to develop and optimize this technology. Since we incorporated Afsana Labs in 2020, we have filed several patent filings and also have several pending SBR, STTR grants. So we plan to work with industry partners and rep firms in terms of marketing and sales. This includes co-branding, rebranding, licensing. And here we provide an advantage of 1,000 times better sensitivity, a rapid 15-minute, 20-minute test, and a multiplex test. So one of the main competitors for us is the Abbott ID Now, which detects about 20 to 300 copies of the virus. Here we're detecting about 1 copy at the same amount of time. And complementary organizations we plan to work with, including research institutes such as UTD, UT Southwestern, and also pharmaceutical development companies, which they have a pressing need for biomarkers. So we plan to set the price at about $10,000 per device at about 65% gross margin, and with the funding and exit over the next 7 to 8 years. We plan to sell it at the research labs and first, followed by diagnostic equipment market. This will be our main source of revenue, and by selling products in these sectors. Here's a brief overview of our financials. And we have a strong IP portfolio and customer discovery. So this is our team, including executives, medical expertise, as well as technology know-how. Thank you.
Right on time. We didn't have to get the cane out. Close, though. All right. Up next, Electra. Come on out.
Woo! Hey, y'all. So it was a dark and gloomy night. Okay, it wasn't a dark and gloomy night. It was actually an early Saturday morning, and I was running a 5K. Okay, I wasn't running a 5K. I was walking a 5K. And customary, after you run a race or walk a race, someone comes up and hands you a sponsor's sports drink. Now, for context, when they handed me this sports drink, it was a sports drink that I'd had many, many times. I played on an undefeated national championship team at the University of Texas. Thank you. Any Aggies in the house? Very good, okay. I played on the WNBA's first championship team in 1997, so safe to say I've had tons of sports drinks. And to be candid with you, I can't remember many times that I looked at the ingredients because I assumed if they were giving it to us as elite athletes, that it must be good for us. And that morning when I turned that drink around and looked at the ingredient panel, I was horrified by what was in that drink. And that day, I launched Electra in my mind. But what I really did was I went home and I started to do some research. There had to be better for you sports drinks out there. Maybe I just wasn't seeing them. So I went to the grocery store. Everything on the shelf was Gatorade, Powerade, Body Armor. This was 2 years ago. So I did what most people do when it's time for them to start a company. I started doing research. What are the better for you companies out there? Who's doing what? And what I discovered is that even though the category was $25 billion at that time, Gatorade, Powerade, Body Armor had most of that market share. None of it was better for you. So I did the next best thing. I did a survey of women, because women are the badasses in the homes. We do the most of the buying, and we are the white space in the category. And I learned that there was nothing out there like the thing that I wanted to create. You see, the problem with sports drinks, and I discovered this that day, was that there's too much sugar, too many calories, not enough functionality, right? Too much sugar, too many calories, not enough functionality. And consumers were asking for something better. So we surveyed them and we said, if there was a better for you choice, would you drink it? 48% of them said yes. We said, would you try it? 38% said maybe. And we felt like we were on to something. Introducing Electra. We're entering the sports game and we're changing the game forever. What makes Electra different is that it is absolutely 1% natural. It's got great taste, fewer calories, less sugar. So we're addressing some of the health crises that we have in this country with diabetes and obesity and even some other diseases. It's 100% natural. It even has potassium, vitamins B, C's, and D's. What's in the bottle is like nothing on the shelf. If we look at the competitive analysis that's out there, now the number of what sports drinks are right now is 32 billion by 2026. 75% of that is still taken up by these particular brands. So what makes Electra different? Number one, we target women. We target girls and women ages 13 to 45 because that is the white space in the category. Now, the interesting thing about targeting women, when I started to poll men, the first question that men had was, so what's gonna happen if this is for women and I drink it? Is anything gonna fall off? Anything gonna grow? I said, no, we're targeting women, but what's in the bottle is good for everybody. And so what makes us different is the fact that we're targeting the white space. Women will spend most of the money in the household, and women have specifically said, we will not drink sports drinks until there is something better for us on the market. Our business model is very simple. We go direct to consumer from our website. We also go from Amazon. We are in 172 H-E-B stores, and we are going to lots of events to get the brand out there. Our go-to-market strategy was exactly what we did online, and some of the traction that we have now. We were among the highest rated episodes on Shark Tank this time last year. We are introducing powders here in the next month or so. We've already signed our first USA Olympian to the brand, and now it's about who wants to be involved in this game and help me raise this $1 billion baby.
Awesome job. All right, awesome. Next up, First Then. Come on up.
Good evening. My name's Amanda. I'm the co-founder and CEO of First Then. I'm also mom of Reagan, a bright, energetic 12-year-old boy with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's our family's experience learning to treat and manage life with ADHD that inspired the creation of this company and our profound belief that all people with ADHD should have the chance to live into their full potential. Here's what we know. ADHD impairs the regions of a child's brain that control self-regulation and executive function. So what does that mean? Well, in the morning, for example, it's the difference between a typical family's experience of getting grumpy kiddos out of bed through their morning routine and out the door to school, and the protracted, stressful experience of an ADHD family when a child and their brain simply can't initiate tasks and complete them. Developing these behaviors requires sustained quality care. Even before the pandemic, most children with ADHD weren't receiving quality care. That's the combination of medication and psychosocial treatment. More than half of children are taking medication to manage immediate behaviors, and yet less than a third may ever receive proven, evidence-based treatments to develop the behaviors and skills required for success in life. This is things like making friends, managing homework, and pausing to make good decisions in life. Here's what keeps me up at night. My son Reagan has a more than 2 times greater chance of injury, school dropout, substance abuse, and run-ins with the law. He's 6 times more likely to be unemployed as a young adult. And I can tell you from experience, the stress and strain on families is real. The pandemic has only seen a compounding effect, and yet this pandemic has also seen surging acceptance of digital solutions, and herein lies the key. A direct-to-consumer health and wellness platform that targets the biggest ADHD care gaps with science-based, family-centered digital interventions and tools. Our proactive, condition-specific approach will empower ADHD families and set first then apart. We'll do this with 3 key features: self-guided psychosocial training and tools for parents and children, caregiver coaching and community, and data-driven insights. This fall, we started testing our very first psychosocial training prototype with families around the country, and they're telling us First Then's approach addresses their pains and motivates their children to stick with it. We'll start by addressing the significant direct-to-consumer market. Families are already spending tremendous amounts of money out of pocket on ADHD treatment and support, and they're increasingly inclined toward accessible digital solutions. And it's this 3 million families, and especially the moms, that gets us to our obtainable market. We're pre-revenue today and expect to be in the market by the end of the year with a subscription-based business model. We'll then use economic and outcomes data to expand our relationships in the payer and provider communities. The pandemic has seen increased interest and investment in pediatric mental health, and that's a great thing. Unfortunately, there aren't enough mental health professionals to meet all the need. First Then's self-guided training fills the gap and approaches ADHD as the chronic condition it is, with condition-specific solutions. We'll gauge our success by the number of families we help and the outcomes they achieve. And if we get this right, the revenues will follow. I'm proud of the team that we've assembled to tackle this big, wicked problem. We've got leading people from industry-leading companies like McKinsey, Sprint, Match, and mental health pioneer Mindstrong. We're also extremely proud of our powerhouse advisors. They are experts in pediatric mental health, neuroscience, pediatric telehealth, telemental health, and consumer-facing technology. The burden of ADHD is increasingly acute, and yet we know digital care works for addressing chronic conditions. ADHD must be next, and we're committed to making this a reality. And if you think you can help in any way, we'd love to talk to you. Thank you so much, and good evening.
All right, next up, Griot.
Hi, I'm Dara Chikiobi, CEO and co-founder of Griot, and we believe that infant feedings can be less stressful and about much more than milk. At 2 months postpartum, I was a full-time attorney and working towards my MBA. The infant feeding process was hands down the most intense activity in early parenting because it's where I spent most of my time. It was in this space that I looked for products that not only addressed my child's needs, but acted as a parenting device to help me run my busy life while allowing me to maximize the precious time that I had with my child. At the same time, my co-founder, who is a college professor, scientist, and engineer, was prematurely blessed with twins who required an extended stay in the NICU. Upon dispatch, she had to use everything in her toolbox to engineer solutions that not only brought them up to speed developmentally, but addressed the many feeding issues that NICU families typically go through. So even though we started our motherhood journeys on opposite ends of the spectrum, we found commonality in overhauling the feeding experience. We surveyed over 100 new moms who described feeding a baby as stressful, overwhelming, and unpredictable. It's easy to see why. On average, at 6 hours a day, feeding a child is truly a full-time job. Existing solutions ignore critical layers of health like cognitive and emotional development, and current designs ignore communal caretaking dynamics, leaving the brunt of the emotional and physical strain on an already exhausted mother. That's why we created the first baby bottle system that allows all caretakers to actively enhance their child's development. We partnered with pediatricians and child specialists to incorporate clinical techniques that are commonly found in the NICU, like the ability to capture maternal odor to soothe and calm the baby so others can assist you in the early feeding routine. We incorporated bold rotating images that facilitate storytelling, which is proven to enhance communication and promote early language development. And we've also provided texturized bases, which encourage reaching and tactile exploration. We wanted to test the effects of visual stimulation on over 20 infants, and over the course of 4 days, we captured and analyzed 137 feeding times to great results. 91% of participants stated that their child was more attentive, more engaged, and had a more pleasant feeding experience. Most importantly, when we normalized times across the board, children consumed 20% more milk. That is a huge parenting win. Griot's 7 to 10 year plan does not begin and end with the $3.5 billion baby bottle industry. Our pending patent covers various iterations of our solution that includes biotechnical innovations created by our very own co-founder. We are simply starting with the most talked about parenting trends, such as brain development, emotional bonding, and the easing of parental stress. We're going after that $88 billion baby care market. Our sensory enhancing kits will be sold in 1 of 3 systems with an average markup of 196% from the cost of manufacturing to retail. We are the only baby bottle systems that go beyond nutritional delivery to encourage additional layers of health, and we are the only system that's designed for communal use. We are in the midst of executing on a multi-pronged go-to-market strategy, starting with retail. We are an approved vendor of Brixie, which is a collective of high-end, independently owned and operated baby boutiques in and around the US and Canada. Not only will we be selling our bottles online, but we secured a strategic partnership with Hand to Hold, the largest NICU support group in the US, who will be promoting and marketing our bottles in exchange for 10% of sales of our premium edition kits. We'll have a presence on marketplace platforms in order to extend Griot's reach and accelerate customer reviews. And finally, build brand awareness by having a presence at local trade shows and markets in and around the Austin area where we're from. Our equity-free advisors provide a wealth of support, whether it be Dr. Chike Yobi, who keeps us up to date on the most recent pediatric research, or Rush Bartlett, who provides great industry insight as one of the top VPs of the largest baby bottle makers in the country, or Van Trescott, who provides just wonderful startup guidance out of the Texas Innovation Center. Invest in Griot. Our baby bottle systems are truly overhauling the infant feeding process and modernizing the parenting journey for all caretakers. Thank you.
Awesome job. All right. One more to go. One stop. Come on up. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Romy Antoine. I'm the founder and CEO of One Stop Wellness, a health literacy platform that empowers employees to identify chronic health risks and become their own healthcare advocates. I found the real need for health literacy because I was personally impacted. My mom, who battled stage 4 bile duct cancer, had the trace of a burnt-out employee with multiple chronic conditions. One day, she came home excited that her doctor gave her a personal nurse so she wouldn't have to go back and forth to the hospital. Later on, we found out she was put on hospice. That fact was lost in translation. I soon learned that many people don't really understand what their doctors are telling them, and 70% of adults forget what happened in their appointment within 30 minutes of leaving. This lack of health literacy is the reason why so much money is wasted in the healthcare system and why workplace wellness programs don't work. Unfortunately, cancer got the best of my mom, but hopefully this product will help save some lives. There's a big need in the workplace. 4 out of 10 millennials report having at least one chronic condition. Employee engagement is an all-time low, and healthcare costs continue to rise. HR needs a tool to solve this. To put in perspective, our client GlobalScape, a public tech company in San Antonio, came to us because they had high health costs due to diabetic employees and also sedentary employees. With our app, they're able to track health assessments, identify health risks, and our on-site biometric screening helped us to screen an employee who actually had AFib, saving the company a $47,000 insurance claim. They also had 72% engagement in our program, where the industry average is only 28%, and they reduced their insurance costs by 12% that year. With our app, employees are able to do health assessments, track their mood, where they tell us how they're doing each day, and then track their goals. When they do a biometric screening, they take a picture of the results, and our app analyzes that data to give them a personalized wellness plan and detailed health report that they can share with their doctor. COVID caused us to shift our approach. We learned that $1 billion is lost each week due to pandemic-related stress. 72% of employees rather learn by watching video than reading, and 84% of internet traffic is video as of now. So we need to create virtual content that was short, fun, and easy. Over the last 10 months, we've created over 200 on-demand virtual classes featuring experts in nutrition, mindfulness, fitness, and medicine. And we created a process to make these videos short and engaging, all under 12 minutes, tied to employees' health risks. There's 42,000 companies within our market, and we're targeting 34% switching vendors looking for solutions that focus on virtual remote workers. Our competition is really focused on an all-in-one approach where we know that doesn't work and wellness has to be personalized. Our differentiators in our mood tracker that can identify behaviors associated with burnout and depression, and also our videos for the first time allow us to correlate health literacy to chronic disease risk. We have 3 streams of revenue in our subscription, starting at $3 per employee per month. Every time a biometric form gets uploaded, it's additional revenue. So for 750 employees, we're looking at $50,000 per client per year. We also have a new revenue stream where we can license our video content to our competitors as well as healthcare carriers. We're able to license our content to create USA Today's employee wellness program. We're partnering with benefits brokers because they can shorten our sales cycle because they have the client relationships. And we'll also do direct sales and marketing campaigns. Last year, we started with 106 users. Now we have over 19,000. We recently got a finalist for a government contract for over 35,000 employees. And as of last week, we closed a new client worth $19K ARR. We've been recently funded by SVP Dallas as well as Startup Health. My team, I have a background in exercise science and biology. Implemented on-site wellness programs for over 4 years, working directly with over 200 HR directors to help me design his product. Jamie has a background in analytics and marketing, had 3 exits, including his analytics company Yahoo. And Yesenia has a background in digital health and exercise science, working as a personal trainer for some of the largest benefits brokers. We're currently raising $600,000, of which we've closed $445,000. And our goal is to continue to increase our marketing and video content production to really help improve health literacy and empower people with access to their own healthcare data. Thank you.
Awesome job, man. Good job. All right. What do you think? 5 awesome startups. Let's hear it for them one more time. Y'all did incredible. Good job, everyone. All right, judges, take a few minutes, put your scores down. Ren will collect them for you. By the way, if y'all haven't met Ren, say hi to the people, Ren. Ren leads our community team, which is also walking around. My community team's in the back here. Say hi. If you are interested in anything MassChallenge related, they are experts, and they love to talk and would love to talk to you. So as the judges are doing that, I thought it'd be interesting to, and we'll get some commentary from them in a minute. I thought it'd be interesting to point out a couple things. So one of the things we love doing when we launch a new market is running miniature competitions like this for a bunch of reasons. First and foremost, we get to highlight some really awesome founders. So thank you all for applying. Thank you for being here and showing up to do the competition. That's incredible. It also helps us identify a couple key things. So, MassChallenge, we are an industry agnostic organization, right? We look for startups anywhere in the world. any founder, any stage, any background, any demographic, we can help them through our network, through any of our various programs. When we launch a new program like we did here in North Texas, we have a lot of assumptions around the types of startups that we think we're going to be able to support, the types of industries, the types of tech clusters. And I think it's really cool to note that obviously with our partnership here at Pegasus Park and our friends at Lyda Hill, there was a lot of assumptions that biotech and health tech in general was going to be a prevalent theme. Really telling that our top 5 startups from this competition were all in the health tech life science category, which is an awesome, I think, indicator of the ecosystem and what's to come. So as we are compiling scores in the back and getting the big mainframes out to do all the computation, it's really not that complicated. This was a pretty short program, and we didn't have a lot of time or any time for Q&A from the startups, but I did want to go to the judges just to get some initial thoughts and reactions. Any feedback you have from the startups, we'll just kind of go down the line. Any other feedbacks you have in general, musings, we'll try to leave the politics and religion out of it. Let's stick with the startups or anything ecosystem related. Bill, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I love Fran. I mean, if you could buy stock in people, you'd buy stock in Fran. But we had current revenues, and I would have liked to hear a little bit more about current revenues. It was a great presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Gabby.
Thank you all so much for your presentations. Every single one of you were super inspiring. You definitely made judging on this panel very, very difficult. So thank you all for what you do, for sure.
Great presentations. I thought it was especially helpful to hear about the competition you might have for your products and where your product is unique. In some cases, it is unique. In some cases, you're competing with others. And I think a little bit more about the competition for some of them would have helped. Thanks.
Yeah, these are always great. I mean, I want to go start something. So I want to start something with me. Someone come grab me. We'll go start something. Yeah, you guys do great. Really, really fun to be here. Appreciate all the hard work and the ideas to start things. It's just pretty fun to see. So appreciate you guys.
Do I have to leave politics out of it?
I mean, you are on the board of directors. You kind of can do whatever. Yeah.
Third thing I'll say is I have a personal connection to each and every one of your stories, and I have deep questions about them. And if I were to say one question that I would love to hear, particularly in the health and life sciences space, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the research or testing that you engaged in with your products. I think you've all identified the right white space. I'm gonna pick on you for a half a second. Don't do that. I paid my way through law school as a test subject for Gatorade. My father-in-law was one of the founders of the Gatorade formula, and I'll tell you, the Gatorade formula does not look like what's on the shelf today. And I paid my way through law school doing testing as an athlete for Gatorade. should go into testing any sort of true drink for athletes. And I'd love to hear about that kind of research that's been done in each one of your areas to prepare you for the marketplace and to prepare you for the conversations you're going to have as you go forward. But all in all, y'all are fantastic, man. Thank you.
Awesome. So if I could sum up then, everybody's awesome. Matt's open to investing everything. And Travis is actually only 5 feet tall. The other 2 feet are electrolytes. I think that's what we heard. All right, so before we reveal the big winner, you all should know that everybody's walking away as a winner. So all 5 of our startups that pitched today will automatically receive a fast track placement into this year's early stage cohort, which means you're going to skip the first roughly 40 to 60% of applications that we get. We're going to place you directly into round 2 of our judging, which happens with live pitches. We have a big check. We are going to give away to the top winner $10,000 non-dilutive cash prize and direct placement into our first year cohort. So you will forever have the distinction of being the very first MassChallenge North Texas startup. The 10 grand's probably better, but still, we think that second part's pretty great. Before we get to that, because directly after that, we're going to go out and have some drinks and we're going to celebrate. If you are inspired by anybody that talked today, probably not me, but Kate, Nicole, our judges, probably our startups. If you know a startup, if you have any desire in being active in this space, we want to talk to you. We want you to be a part of this community. There's lots of ways to do that. If you're an expert, and experts for us are really anybody that cares deeply about innovation, that cares about startups. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be an investor. You can just be somebody that's cool. And well, even that's probably too high. You can just care about people. Let's be real, right? And if you just want to learn about the space, we want you to be a part of this community. If you are a founder that wants to apply to MassChallenge, our applications will open on March the 8th. Go ahead and set up your profile now. You can do that on the same site, and we'll notify you as soon as applications are ready. We all inspired today? Yeah. I know I was. This is awesome. All right. You want to see who won? The winner of $10,000 and the #1 MassChallenge North Texas recipient of Sana Labs. Come on up. Come receive your slightly large check. Come on, come on. All right. Well done, man. Good job. Oh, screw up a little bit. All right. That's yours. I don't know where you're going to cash that. You have to find a really big bank. All right. Thank you all. There's still food and cocktails out in the lobby. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. Sure. Okay, perfect. Yeah, judges and startups, hang out for just a minute. We're going to do a couple pictures, and then we'll go.
How are you?
Thanks for being here, man.